Thank you, Brett.
You're now live.
Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourselves in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to another exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. Once again, this is going to be another large plot scene, so if people will please bear with me whilst I have a slight mental hernia. This evening's scene will take place, or rather the beginning. It's rather interesting how things start, isn't it? How roads can begin at the slightest and at the slightest drop of a hat, or at the weirdest of places. After all, that street behind your house that you knew growing up could lead somewhere fantastic. It could lead to another land. It could lead simply to a baker's shop. Who knows? Who is to judge? However, the road for today leads our players somewhere interesting. There has been a huge and abnormal crime signature that can be easily detected by Magi. As a matter of fact, it does not matter where they are. It does not matter what they or how they perceive the world. Simply that there is a great pulse emanating from somewhere within Dublin. Intermittent, admittedly. The pulse is not strong enough. The pulse seems to come and go. You're not sure if it is weak and gathering strength, or if there is something intermittently blocking it from view, blocking it from your senses. However, one way or another, you will find your way winding and twisting to the Phoenix Park, the largest park, as some call it the Central Park of Dublin, located in the centre of the city proper. It is a green and verdant place. There is a herd of deer that inhabit it, despite the fact it is quite literally within the heart of the city itself. You will walk among glens that happy families come to picnic. You will see it. You will experience the joy, hear the rapture. It's about 12 o'clock in the afternoon and the sun shines down from overhead. It's a pleasant day. A day like any other, really. But then again, adventures often start on days that are just like any other. So, our Magi, following their nose, following the sense of this primal energy, this energy of magic, will find their way into a fairy ring. Now, for those of you who do not know what a fairy ring is, it is an enclosed grouping of trees, and generally in a circle. They tend to grow in isolated areas and were oftentimes used for spectacles, druidism, or in the modern Catholicized times, the burying of unbaptized children. However, from the center of this place, you feel the pulse. It ripples against your senses. So, we shall begin, as we shall always begin, with going down from my right to left. So, Brett, you are the first to find the pulse.
After having felt the pulse, Alistair would have used his etheric sense rope to pinpoint the location and then head there with it. He's bringing his bag of tricks along with him, and he's got the glasses that he was given on Hog's Watch tucked into his jacket pocket. He will arrive and he will begin looking around the area, trying to track the etheric flows of how the energy is flowing, to see if it's a confluence in the fairy ring or if the energy of the fairy ring is leading somewhere else.
Okay, I will answer that question, but I'm going to continue introducing people. So I'm going to also lump you guys in together, so people of different magical organizations will arrive together, etc. So next on my list, we have Mr. Murphy and Mr. Kenning. Our two hermetics will arrive together.
Murphy is going to be skating his way through the park, leading Kennings. Just kind of in a this way, motion as he skates down the random paths and sidewalks. He'll reach closer to the ring and he'll get off the board, tuck it behind him, and then kind of look around, take a hit from his cigarette, look at the circle of trees.
Richard will follow along. I'm going to go ahead and assume that unless you have Prime, you don't really know anything's wrong unless someone tells you.
That is correct. If you do not have Prime, you will need to have been led here by someone else.
Okay, good. And he has, so that works. Richard will just look around to see if he can find out anything, and since he doesn't have Prime, he can't. So he'll take Liam's word for what's going on and say, so where's this thing emanating from?
It's here-ish. Still working on that. We're in a title recess right now, so.
Next, we have Mr. Liza.
So Eliza came to this place in her van. It's kind of like boom 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 boom. And she has with her magical murder bag that is filled with new toys. Beautiful, beautiful new toys. And was just kind of sauntering over to the center of the power waving and see Dr. Elazer over there. And say, "Hey Doc, what's up?"
Jason, either choose being in or out. It's not hard. It's one option or the other.
He's outside chat that he can't see or hear us.
How peculiar.
Yeah, he's been having this trouble before. Either way, keep it flowing.
All right. Next on my list, we have Mr. Weiss.
Since he's got Prime Sight, he tracks the vibrations, emanations, etc., and probably shows up in his car, parks somewhere convenient, and starts walking towards the others.
Okay. Next, we have a Lottie. Because Lottie.
What neighborhood exactly is the node in? Or is it just a random space in Dublin?
It's located in a fairy ring that is in the center of the Phoenix Park, one of the large. It's basically the central park of Dublin. It's so large that, in fact, here's a fun real world fact. The park is in the center of the city. It is so large it has a herd of deer.
Damn. Lottie is going for the deer, for the node, and to see if she can set up maybe a flash mob, but also deer, because she's never seen one before.
Deer
so
are important here.
She's deer hunting, trying to take a snap.
You will find, as I say, a collective conglomeration of interesting individuals located in the center of a fairy ring. A fairy ring, as I say, being an independent, tall, standing circle of trees.
Sweet. Then Lottie will wave in her usual backpack, but now she has a deerstalker hat, because why the fuck not?
That's fair. And last but not least upon my list, we have our enigmatic Mr. O'Cullen, or Detective O'Cullen. My apologies.
Detective O'Cullen is doing the normal thing, just walking around, being seen and everything, and he's just going to wander up and see a whole bunch of people around a copse of trees and be interested by it.
All right, guys. So, as I say, you find yourself in the center of a fairy ring. Interestingly enough, for those of you who possess any interest or inclination towards dendrocolcheria, or the study of trees, dendronology, you are standing in the center of 6 yew trees. Yew trees are interesting in the sense that they're actually mostly associated with graveyards and the act of death, so much so that they were commonly placed within graveyards as a sign and a symbol. Many people think it is a druidic representation and emblemage. Whom here currently has Prime Sight activated?
Y'all.
Oh.
Okay. Who here currently has Correspondence Sight activated?
Damn it, you know I failed that one.
I forgot.
I only have Prime.
I
Okay.
have Prime Sight active and a Mind Shield.
That's fine. Those of you who have Prime Side active, there is another wash of primal energy from. You can now clearly tell beneath the ground. You're not at the node yet. You're on top of it, however. But interestingly enough, in that heartbeat, that moment, that flash of energy, the trees around you all light as if there is something nascent there that was being powered, and they stay lit for about 10 minutes or so until the power subsides or until you choose to interact with them, whichever comes first.
So it just kind of comes and goes?
Yes, but it comes and it goes. But if you're examining, as I said, it will. The pulses come roughly as you check them, and I assume Eliza will have her. I assume she is very scientific in her methodology, so measuring the time, the intensity, etc. The waves themselves come once every 30 minutes. And you will have been able to tell this from your devices and your implements that you have no doubt been studying the waves themselves since they began to emanate. However, as I said, when the wave comes for 10 minutes after, they will illuminate the trees on a primal level, as if the trees themselves have some nascent effect or some semblance of power storage, maybe.
Mm-hmm. So here's an interesting fact about Eliza's goggles. Eliza's goggles not only have Prime, but also Life Sight implanted in them. So what do I get? Because the trees are living beings, so they should be visible with Life Sight. What do they look like?
Okay. The trees look perfect. They are perfectly formed. They suffer from absolutely none of them suffer from any infestations of any parasites. None of them. They are all in perfect health. And no, you would need a different site to ascertain that. But they are all perfect specimens.
Okay, and through Prime Sight, you can see quintessence flowing through them.
Correct.
Okay, Eliza's gonna walk up to a tree. Reach into her bag, grab a little bottle and a wire, sticks the wire into the tree, and puts the other end of the wire into the bottle. And I'm basically going to tap this thing for quintessence.
Quintessence in that form doesn't emerge. However, what does emerge, interestingly enough, is blood.
Hey Doc, does your knowledge go to bleeding trees as well?
I'm afraid that's not exactly my area of expertise. Owlsir is
What
going
was
to
that
walk
that you
over.
questioned?
Bleeding trees.
Owlsir is going to walk over to
What about them?
The trees, they bleed blood.
Owlsir is going to go over to the tree to make sure that it's actually blood. With his level of medicine and his level of science, he should know the difference between blood or something that's like it.
Right. I'll tell you right now, that is 100%. Unless it is a very, very, unless it is a synthetic fake, like the kind of thing you would buy in a joke shop, it has the color, the viscosity, it appears to be blood.
Owlsir will say, it's real blood. The color, the viscosity, the smell. I'm not going to taste it because that's inviting all sorts of things that you can't put back in the bottle. But it's blood.
Having quick question for, posterity's sake.
Mm-hmm.
What ancient Irish deity or deities might have, this be a thing before the angelicized and Christian theology?
If you wish to know the answer to that, you can happily roll me intelligence esoterica.
Woohoo!
What spheres are necessary to denote something's resonance?
To denote their resonance, I believe that is... Hold on a minute, let me just check my notes. Nobody asked me about resonance ever, really. I believe that's a mixed... I believe that's quintessence, I think. If anyone else, if I'm wrong, people can feel free to shout at me at this point, because I can't remember.
Prime entropy?
Or prime mind?
Yes.
I have a bunch of prime and a dot of mind. Is that enough?
Yes, but... okay, yeah.
Okay. He will take a long drag from his vape and he will exhale slowly, chanting and speaking in what language today? He'll be blending, given the area, Welsh and Gaelic as my focus.
Okay.
I did not succeed, Evan. I rolled 2 4s.
Do you have esoterica?
I just rolled straight int.
You can't roll int on a knowledge roll if you don't have a .NET.
Okay.
I got 1 success.
Okay.
You do have a companion that is quite knowledgeable in many areas, maybe.
You can, if you want to roll, say that you wish to make a roll. But to answer your question, the resonance that you get from these trees, it is static because obviously they are static living beings. However, it has an emotional resonance of abject.
It appears that it briefly crashed over there, so we shall quickly answer the side question, which was, are there any signs of typical moss, vegetables, fungi growths? Well, the trees do provide a good amount of shade for such things to grow. Such things would be cleared by the local wildlife. Now that he's back, we'll carry on with what he was saying.
Yes,
Thank
that's
you.
what I'm saying. Overlaid over its relatively static resonance is a resonance of abject, absolute, almost crushing sorrow.
By the way, I forgot to put my correspondence side up at the start. May I do that now, or roll for it at least?
Yeah, you may.
Will that?
But literally, Austin, when I say that this... Okay, Austin, make me a willpower check, because this almost tips you, if you get me. You're feeling such pain that it's resonating inside you. So just a willpower roll, difficulty 6.
I do have a 5 success mind shield active. Will that modify that at all?
It's not necessarily a mind effect, in the sense that it's more so you are feeling the pain. If that you are seeing, it's like how you would feel depressed if you saw someone self-harming and weeping bitter, bloody tears.
Gotcha. Difficulty?
Standard diff.
I got 2 successes.
Okay. You're just kind of sad.
That's intense. And he's just gonna deep breath in, deep breath out.
Oh, on a side note, sorry. Jason, I see that you've joined us. Hi, Jason.
Hello. I've no
We can
idea
hear
what's
you.
causing the problem, but I can only seem to
We
get
are just going to use the
in Google.
horrible tool, which I would lovingly refer to as GM Hand Wavium, which is going to be that you came with the other two Hermetics. They are standing in
fine. That's
Okay,
perfectly
real quick.
fine. And as long as
They're
it's as long as it gets the scene going, then that's fine. I don't care how it happens.
They are standing, as I say, in a fairy ring, investigating hilariously potent crime
it's already been
signatures.
mentioned in
So
the
that's
group.
what they're currently doing. Okay.
And I got one success on my correspondence side.
Okay. Hi, Richard. For a split second, holy Jesus shitballs, Jim! Literally, you look down and you see the fact that almost the entirety of where you're standing is underneath the ground, is warded. Literally, as you penetrate the earth by about a couple of inches, there is a ward underneath that, an incredibly powerful ward designed to fool people's senses, designed to make it's a ward to make sure something isn't noticed. And you theorize that it was blocking the prime signature so people wouldn't know it was there.
Richard.
Sorry, but important point. But the ward is flickering and failing.
When he sees it, Richard does a little bit of a jump, like, whoa, holy shit, what is that? And then he directs Liam's and what's her face, Mara's attention to it and goes, guys, look down. There's some pretty powerful wards down there.
There's what? And Liam will look down.
There's some pretty...
Can I do that esoterica roll that was mentioned?
Sorry, I was putting fuel on the fire. What?
Can I do that esoterica roll that was mentioned?
I'd like to do that as well.
Okay. Intelligence esoterica.
Standard diff.
Standard diff.
Good. Oh, damn. 4 successes.
Is it right if I join in on that?
One success.
What are you actually trying to... Okay, what answer are you trying to get? And yes, Solon, you can roll that if you want.
Sorry, was that directed towards me?
Yeah, I was asking what is the wits esoteric... What is the intelligence esoteric roll in aid of?
Basically, what exactly am I looking at? I mean, I know it's a fairy ring, but... You know, I'd like at least a little bit of information, considering that I'm kind of, you know.
Okay. You're standing in the middle of a fairy ring that appears to be made entirely of yew trees. As I've said, yew trees have a very special significance. They are oftentimes considered to be sacred to various different forms of druids. That is why yew trees are primarily rooted in cemeteries, because they're considered to be trees that symbolize both death and new life. This is a pretty... The fairy ring itself is on a commanding hill that overlooks the rest of the park proper that it's located in. If you had to guess, maybe it could have been a druidic ritual site. It would not be uncommon for things like this to be located on such places.
Quick question. I was going to ask what the difficulty was for the esoterica roll, but with that in mind, would since I have belief systems paganism, would that apply here? Should I roll that instead?
Yes.
Okay. What would the diff be?
Same diff.
Which is?
Standard.
Okay.
For those of you who are actively looking at the trees, like examining them, can I get you to all make me a perception investigation check, please?
All right. I also got 5 successes.
Copy.
You will get the exact same information I just gave Jason.
Sweet.
I do not have an investigation, so I will be unable to roll.
Assuming standard diff, 2 successes.
Yeah, I don't have investigation either.
Okay. Cool.
What happened? I am sorry. I just dropped a
Who are looking at the trees are rolling perception investigation.
I have that. I have lots of that.
Put it to good use.
Oh, budget. That's funnier. I'm kidding.
So 2 successes from the Ollie button.
Three successes over here.
I'm just waiting for Grog to do his dice roll.
1, 2, 3 successes from me.
Okay, it was pretty easy, actually, because it's pretty obvious as you look them over. So both the 2 successes and the 3 successes will get this. Okay, so guys, at equal height on the tree, about 4 feet off the ground, each tree, and you can see them now, has an identical notch that almost, as you look at it, is almost roughly the size of a thumb.
Can I tell how old they are?
Do you have time sight?
I actually do. In the form of my glasses.
Then yes,
glasses,
you may roll on your glasses.
What's the irritate roll on that?
What are the glasses irritate?
You never told me. You just said that I could speak a word and a set of coordinates, and it would locate the coordinates, and then I could kick the glasses backwards in time.
Okay. In that case, I'll just say you can do it because it's more fun. How far back do you want to look?
As far back as I can not see that notch in the tree anymore.
As far back as you can see, the glasses will take you back a good century. They have always had the notches there.
Alzir will take off the glasses and hold it. He's then going to pull out his gloves and a sampling container. He's going to swab for particulates on the notch. Unfortunately, the actual result will have to wait until he gets the mass spec.
As you're swabbing it, you will notice that it can be pressed in.
Damn, my curiosity flaw. I'm going to have to roll my willpower.
Give in, Brett. You know you want to.
Become one with your curiosity.
5 successes. So instead of giving into my curiosity, I'm going to say, hey, look at this. This can be pressed.
Indeed it can.
Oh, wait, can it? What can? Hold on. Where's that? What did you say?
Alazir is going to motion to the notch on the side of the tree. Says this can be pressed like this, and then I'm going to press it.
Does this wait? Hold on. Before you do that, does that tree have the same press?
Do we have?
Yeah, they all appear to in the exact same place.
All right, guys, we're gonna press some buttons at the exact same time.
Sweet.
Evan, I'm
All right,
preparing to
so
time travel in case this goes wrong.
Sorry, so Lottie. Oh, okay, Grog. For the record, that's not how time travel works. That's not how time travel works. But okay. So Lottie, Brett, Eliza. Who has the other 3 trees? Because there are 6 of them.
I think there's 6 of us, isn't there? 1, 2, 3.
There's more than 6.
4.
There are like 8 people in here, not counting the SDs.
Yeah.
Yes,
I guess I'll take a
pressing the
notch.
button.
Grog is taking a notch, so that will mean that there are 2 left.
I'll take one.
Finley's taking a notch. There's 1 left.
I will do so, but before we do that, I would like to inquire what effect we are hoping to create with this.
I have no idea, but we're getting nothing if we do nothing.
Has anyone noticed anything else strange about here?
Yes, it is a fairy ring.
That portion I got.
There are some pretty powerful wards.
Wards?
And very powerful wards, yes.
You know, Richard nods
we
and
already
gestures
lost?
down towards the ground.
Ah.
Just beneath us.
Interesting.
I kind of feel
Underground
kinship
structure,
with this
perhaps.
trees, and I don't know why.
Is there
Can we get
anything-
someone for the last tree?
I will do so after you tell me what you expect to happen.
I have no idea.
Then I don't think.
Have you met the society meter? It's called Push the Button.
All right, someone else push that button.
Who hasn't pushed a button?
We're
I will
waiting.
clarify. No one here has actually pushed one. You are waiting to push them all at once, apparently.
Yes, but
Did I
I'm just
miss?
saying
Did
who
we
is
push
not
the
ready to do so.
Did we push the buttons?
Not yet.
Just in time then.
We're going to push the buttons at the same time. So we need one person on each tree.
Mara's already said that she'll do it, but she needs clarity.
No one here knows what's going to happen.
Yes, and so Mara's not going to do it.
Okay, someone else press that button.
Well, how many people do we have?
It's only Mara and Mark's character. Am I going down? Am I like lagging?
Okay.
No, you're coming in pretty well.
When they stand up between them going off, Richard just shrugs and says, "Well, fortes fortuna adjuvat," and then goes over to be ready to push the button.
Okay.
That means
Dink.
So, in that case, I will give this to Eliza. Eliza, give me a nice countdown from 5.
5,
So you go.
4, 3, 2,
Liam holds his
1.
Push.
YOLO.
okay.
That's literally what she
Alright.
says.
When everyone presses the button or presses into the notch, you will notice something happen. For a start, there is a prick on the tip of your finger, on the tip of your thumb as you press in, or whichever finger you use to press. That will form a tiny cut. Also, the ground itself will start to shimmer. The ground itself will start to almost turpentinely begin to shift as if you are standing on quicksand. The quicksand will instantaneously, practically, swallow you up. You are dragged down, down, down by some unknown force of gravity. Though you can still breathe, you cannot move your feet until you find yourself standing in a large circular room with a set of great double doors at the end, at one end of the room. As you enter, torches boom, 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 flick into light all around you in the circle. The room is lit with green torchlight, and on the ground you see great tree roots.
Oh, fuck yeah. Can we do that again?
That was pretty cool. Are these kind of like the world roads for Warhammer? That'd be pretty fucking swell. Oh,
I'm
what is
hoping
that?
it's not Yggdrasil, but you know.
I'm gonna add matter sights to my glasses, Evan.
Okay. What you will see.
We roll the dice first.
Oh, I thought it was just an automatic I flick it on effect. Continue.
No, not for matter. That's a failure. So I will do it again.
You had one job, Max.
Oh, no, wait, that was one success. My apologies. So that's 3 successes in total. I will.
Okay,
put-
Max.
Yeah.
You will notice the floor itself is made of stone. All around you, you are surrounded by living rock cut and hewn. Oh, the door itself is made of wood, and there is iron riveted into it. There is also, you are surrounded by bones that are wearing metal.
And here's where I come in. Can I do a forensic science check to figure out what I'm standing on?
All right. There are two individuals in this room, one of which appears to be face down, facing the door. The other is slumped up on the wall, slumped up, leaning against the wall. He is wearing a metal breastplate of some archaic design and has and has some kind of ragged ends of what you assume was once a cloak over his shoulders. They are both entirely skeletal.
Okay.
However, who goes to investigate the bodies?
Do you have to ask?
Can I look at it with time sight and look backwards to see when these guys died or how they died?
You can see how long they've been here, definitely.
All right, I am going to roll.
All right.
I'm gonna
So,
have Lottie book them.
as you advance forward, you will notice on his breastplate, though faded by time, there is a pyramid surrounded by an Ouroboros.
Pyramid and an Ouroboros, you say?
Would anyone like to roll Order of Hermes lore?
God damn it!
That's something that I do have, so why not?
Y'all filthy hermetics.
Don't have it.
Oh, shit,
And
they do
intelligence is the base stat.
Actually, they don't use the word heathen, do they?
It will be a difficulty 8 roll.
Okay, fair enough. Here we go.
Intelligence is the base stat.
Intelligence is the base stat.
3 successes, Evan.
Book smart count.
2 8
Book
7 1
smart
9.
will count.
Okay, I think I have 2.
And you said it was 7?
Hermes lore.
Yes.
Diff 8.
8, sorry. 8. Yes.
Evan? 3 successes.
It is 8 successes. Or
I
sorry,
get
8 successes?
I
What?
got 8
Wow.
successes.
I get 3 successes.
all right.
I got 1.
I'll wait.
I now have time sight up, and I'm going to just start skimming back, looking at these 2 dead bodies.
You can't see their past, but you can tell that they've been here, Grog, for about 1,000 years.
So, gentlemen, anyone know anything about 1,000-year-old corpses?
It was a threshold of 3 successes to know this. That is the sigil of House Tremere.
Richard gets a very, very stone, oh fuck me look on his face.
You know, it's a good thing that Mara is part of, the particular house which
Has no emotion.
It's renowned for not having any emotion or anything like that, because otherwise I would probably have to be bringing out this particular meme right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Well done, sir.
Gentlemen,
You're welcome.
as I've said, as you investigate, you are no longer alone in this room.
Okay, who else is in this room?
There is a crimson-robed figure, a figure who has no face. It is merely darkness beneath the hood. They have no sigil, no icon on their person. They merely look with a quirked head and say, "Visitors. It has been some time since we have had visitors."
Please don't be the Crimson King. Please don't be the Crimson King.
No, this one is not.
What language is he speaking, Evan?
Okay, question. How many of you here do not have mind shields? Because I know some of you don't.
Me.
Lottie doesn't have it up.
I failed my roll to activate it, so I do not.
Essentially, it is speaking English. You may ask how it is speaking modern English, and the answer to that is very simple, because some of you do not have protected minds.
Oh god, no.
So, what happened to those dudes, 1,000 years ago? I say, pointing to the skeletons.
I am not able to answer that question, sir. It is not within my prerogative. I am here merely to welcome you on behalf of House DiD.
Who is House DiD?
Evan. I'm sorry, carry on.
Welcome to the Grand Chantry of House DiD.
Evan, I have a question for those of us with mind shields. What language is it speaking?
Oh, it's speaking perfectly audible English because it's reading the minds of those who can speak English.
Because that's a mind effect that you can do.
Gotcha. I was a bit confused for a moment, but
What does
you.
what does this thing look like with Prime Sight?
I was going to ask the same thing, but I'll need entropy.
It's made of prime. It's literally made of prime energy.
Spirit?
It is in fact a spirit, Solon. It is an artificially created spirit.
Are you a construct to welcome guests?
Yes, sir. That would be roughly appropriate. I am here, as I say, to welcome you to the Grand Chantry of House DiD. That is my purpose.
Thank you. And she's just gonna look at the members of of Clan Tremere, the Order of Hermes.
Your vampire is speaking in.
Ugh, that's you know it. Yeah, she's just gonna turn to the members of the Order of Hermes and be like, "The fuck is House DiD?"
Mara's just gonna shake her head.
I mean, we could ask the construct. I'm sure it's got an
I didn't fast
introductory
ask.
Ah, damn it.
Why do they always disappear at the same time?
Fuck Google
Because
Hangouts.
That's why.
Fuck Google.
Devices.
James
One is back.
wrong.
Woohoo!
And they're
And
both back. Hello, boys.
For the record, I will point out, because it is important, there are many different ways to pronounce this house's name. You guys know who I'm talking about. I pronounce it DiD.
How do you spell that?
Trust me, that's why I said
I don't
God damn it, Evan.
Right.
DIEDNE.
Did Lottie ask the Did Lottie ask the servitor who House DiD was?
You know what?
No,
She's
they
got
were looking over at House the Hermetics in the room with them.
The detective actually did. Very politely.
House DiD.
Oh, did he?
House DiD, formed by Ban DiD, is one of the great houses of the Order of Hermes, madam.
Excuse me, but I am a sir.
Okay. So Lottie's gonna poke one of the Hermes people. So info? Explanations? Any reason why there would be dead people here?
Why does this feel so familiar?
Do you normally
This
enter
is a
areas with dead people?
complicated issue.
Perhaps the keeper will be able to.
Can I do I don't know, would it be esoterica or occult role to try and find out what this House DiD is? Because I'm pretty certain that it's not a hermetic house.
Oh, it is.
It is.
It
It
is.
is. Oh god,
Which
it
one
is.
it?
It really is.
There's
Is it?
Okay.
One at a time, please. Sorry.
Okay, from what you guys know, because the propagandized version is what the Order of Hermes will be fed, House DiD was a house that was completely wiped from existence by House Titalus and House Flambeau for blood magic and infernalism.
Ah, the true house.
But of
Gotcha.
course, you guys don't know that. Well, actually,
No,
hang on. Did anyone?
Unless you're in the Order of Hermes, you have no idea. And also, whether that statement is true or false is just that is what you have been told about House DiD.
Okay,
Which is why the non-Hermes people are poking the Hermes people.
Yeah,
like
yeah. It's
what?
kind of why. Yeah, it's also why the hermetic. Well, at least for Mara, anyway. That's why she's shutting the fuck up.
Yeah.
She's
So Evan,
just shaking her head like, don't fucking
Perhaps,
ask.
yeah,
perhaps
Evan,
the keeper will be able to tell you more. Would you care to meet him?
I feel like I've
Who
seen
is-
this horror movie before.
Who is the keeper?
The keeper, sir, is the high factotum of this facility. He was created by Bandine himself in order to aid us in our day-to-day ritual, in order to keep the facility functioning.
Could you give me a full report on the current status of the facility?
That is unfortunately beyond my purview, sir. You would have to speak to the keeper on such matters.
I am, ma'am, but thank you.
So, Evan,
Is the
just
facility
to clarify,
currently in use?
Hang on. Okay, 1 second. Mark, you spoke first. What did you say?
I just need clarification. Is it enough to be Hermes in order to know about that house, or do you need some super advanced hermetic lore?
No, as I said, unless you've got like Order of Hermes lore 4 or greater,
Okay.
What I've told you is common knowledge. They were
Okay,
evil, they were demon worshippers, and they were blood mages.
Good. Okay, sweet. Sorry. Go on.
Yeah,
This
Eliza
facility
asked it.
is defined in use, sir.
Is what? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
He said define in use, madam.
Are there currently people making use of the facility?
Yes, sir. You are the second group of guests to arrive today.
The second.
Yes, madam.
Or is it within your capacity to tell us who the first group was in the event that we may?
I believe that they said, madam, they were representatives of the Technocratic Union.
Alazir is burning all of his arcane right now.
I see. So the technocrat did the representatives of the Technocratic Union leave to meet with the keeper?
Evan's fucked off.
Yeah.
Oh,
ST's
sorry.
dropped out. ST's
He's
have
back.
returned.
As I said, it's literally just a matter of me clicking back into the Hangout, so if I pop out, I will be back in a couple of seconds.
Eliza asked it, did the representatives of the Technocratic Union leave to go meet with the keeper?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. They met with the keeper. They're currently... I am unable to access their current location. You will forgive us, but some of the systems, you will forgive us, but some of the enchantments have been neglected, and so they are not fully in operation.
Is there a way for us to safely go through the enchantments?
You would have to ask the keeper, madam. Would you care to meet him?
Can we get to him safely?
There are no defenses between there and here, madam.
Liza's going to look at the group and be like, shrug.
By the way, Evan, in case you missed it, both Alazir and myself, the second union was mentioned. We both said we're popping arcade.
Okay. By the way, does anyone still have correspondence side up?
Yep.
Hi. You know that ward that was over you that was flickering?
Mm-hmm.
It's now solidified.
Oh. Well, la-di-da. Richard will like...
Hey, Richard.
Mm-hmm.
You can give a rough estimation. You're currently about 1.5 miles below the surface of Dublin. Give or take these. Oh, and teleporting through that shield would be practically impossible.
Richard takes a deep sigh, and then he manages. He tries to discreetly get to a position where he can speak to both Mara and Liam at the same time, and then he relays that same information. Just so you guys know, the wards above us have solidified. We're about that long and that far underground, and there's no way we're going to be able to teleport through that.
Does any of us even have the capacity to teleport through it?
I don't know. I know I don't.
Liam holds his hand and kind of like shakes it a little bit.
Then we are at an impasse. Logically, it seems as if we are being forced into this position to speak with this keeper. I would recommend we approach this cautiously.
I do beg your pardon, but if you would care to step this way, I will lead you to the keeper.
Case in point.
As he says that, he will motion. He will motion, and the doors behind him will creak open.
Richard will shrug, and then
at that point, case in point.
Yeah, Richard will
looking at the construct.
Yeah, Richard will shrug and then follow the construct.
Eliza will put a hand in her magical murder bag. Be like, YOLO, let's go.
AFK roll.
Zero put away his notebook and then he'll follow him.
You are led into a room about 20 feet down a long stone corridor from where you first entered. In the center of the room, there is a huge pool of clear crystal water, so pure and so absolutely clear that you can see the bottom many hundreds of feet down. It is clear, it is tranquil, it is undisturbed. As the servitor bobs, he kind of has a bobbing gait, so you can tell that under the perhaps under the robes he doesn't have feet. Clearly, he's clearly bobbing along. But as he gets there, he will place a single long black finger into the water, and from inches beneath the surface, another figure will form, apparently from shadowy blackness, and it will rise up from the water proper until another figure stands there, this one wearing a porcelain mask that appears to have a very blasé set of features on it under a large cowled hood.
Good evening. Or was it good morning? It's so hard to tell in this place. I bid you welcome. I am the keeper.
Thanks for the welcome.
What brings you to my humble abode?
This thing was hidden, and it was leaking out. So we came to investigate, and we found ourselves here.
Venting. Much energy flows through this place. Every now and then it's but vent unused energy, or else risk catastrophic meltdown to the area above.
Yeah. That ain't good.
No, it would be unhealthy for those in the vicinity.
We are representatives of the Council of Traditions and a few of the crafts.
Are you sure? You look like representatives of yourselves to me.
I mean, that's also true, but you know what? If we're on official business, we should sound official, but I guess that's not my entire shtick. We just don't mean to cause offense.
No offense has been taken. This place is meant to be a home, a sanctuary, a place of study, and a place of peace for those that pursue the higher crafts and the higher thoughts.
All right.
Okay, guys, for the record, important notes. What sites are currently active, and what when you look at the Keeper?
Prime and Spirit.
Once again, he is similar to the Construct, or to the Greeter, as we're going to call him. He is now known as the Greeter. But he is much more powerful, whereas the Greeter has a faint, luminescent spiritual glow. He radiates like a lantern.
I have Prime Matter and Life.
Prime
Time and entropy.
life. He is formed entirely from spiritual ephemera, so he is physically not there. His mask, however, the mask has a physical presence and is in fact made of porcelain infused heavily with quintessence.
Nice.
Entropy.
Can I roll from mine side?
Yeah, you can. Who said entropy side?
Me.
Grog.
Okay.
And me.
That's fine. Give me a second. Well, he's not able to die, so he's not deteriorating in any way. But you get the distinct impression that luck, this is going to be a really esoteric one, luck bends in the way he wants it to.
Is that an invitation
I have
to do an esoteric roll?
Beg your pardon?
Is that an invitation to do an esoterica roll?
No, that's literally just a statement of he can make you lucky or unlucky. He can bend fate and probability as he sees fit.
I have correspondence. Can I roll to get mind as well, or is that too late?
Yeah, you can roll to get mind.
How far back can I see him, Evan?
You can't.
Jesus Christ.
As if he is actively stopping you. Master, they are attempting to invade your private memoirs.
That would be considered rude. Such things are only for those who rule over this place. Those secrets are for them, not for the guests.
I'm sorry, Keeper, but there were bones of two individuals outside that were over 1,000 years old, but I couldn't see I couldn't see before that or how they died.
They were unwelcome, and so they died.
Understandable. The Technocratic Union should have been made unwelcome as well, as they are enemies to the traditions.
In times long past, we have wanted access to this place to so many people of different tribes, people of different schools, people of different crafts. In times long past, a group like you would be greeted with a great feast, and the spirits of this place would celebrate in your arrival, and we would show you such magnificent things. And the apprentices would be brought towards me, and they would show me the things that they have learned that made them worthy of studying in our libraries and eating with us in the same table.
1 second. As I remember, what have I learned?
Okay, so from Mark, did you get Mark? Did you get your mind sight up in the end?
Yes, I did. 2 successes for it.
Okay, Mark.
Correspondence already, yeah.
The servitor, the greeter, has a very simple mind in the sense that he has his function, and that's pretty much all he does. However, my God, once again, the pain, the sorrow, the heartache you feel from the keeper is almost enough to break your own heart.
Do I roll willpower to keep my poker face on, or is that just something I can do?
Yeah, you can roll your willpower to keep your poker face so you don't physically react to all that sadness.
I remember such things that the apprentices used to bring me. Such wonderful, beautiful things. Even the greatest archmages can't truly match what someone is creating for the first time.
I'm good.
May I present with you something that I have made then?
Sorry, just a moment. Mark, what was your result?
2 successes.
The greater kind of quirks his head to the side, and he says, Keeper, our other guests are in the tomb of Ban Dinan, and they are requesting my presence. Do you mind if I am excused?
Please go see to them. I will handle our guests from now on.
He will bow before he will step into the pool, shimmer for a few moments, and disappear. For those of you in the Order of Hermes, he just said the tomb of the House Dinan founder. Take that as you will.
Yeah.
Alzir will actually look to the keeper and be like, is it common for the guests to go visit the sanctified remains of a powerful house founder?
In sometimes there'll be those that were once great will come and give their respects. In other times it has been difficult to stop individuals. The power flows in this place not as it used to. I have difficulty ensuring that it works correctly to halt those that go to places that they should not be. Sometimes I feel that is in a moment that it might lash out against me, its own keeper.
From my experience, usually when these people in particular decide to go someplace, it's not that they're going to be respectful of the remains, it's they're going to do whatever they can to get as much information out of the remains.
If they disrespect the remains, they will suffer the fate of those who did so previously.
I hope so.
Keeper, may I show you what I created when I was an apprentice?
Really? What do you have to show me, apprentice?
I am no longer apprentice, but this is what I made in my first week. And he pulls out a bone dagger that's roughly about the size of his forearm. It's highly intricate and has the names of saints and other people holy to his religion. And he lifts it up so that the keeper can see it. This is from the shin bone of my own father. I have sanctified it in my own blood as it was sanctified in his.
An interesting recombination of multiple layers of sympathetic magic. You have done your studies well. I hope this is an excellent device to defend yourself, and may your enemies be struck down by such a thing. Let it, when you grow great and you grow most powerful, let it remind you of the humble origins of which you started.
Must one be an... I beg your forgiveness, but must one be an apprentice of... sorry, out of character. Head lost for a second. What he would say is... Did anyone... Is this place open to those... Oh, darn, my head's not working tonight. Suffice to say, he's going to basically ask if we are giving these items to him or simply showing them.
Well, gifts are customary. You're not required to do so. It's been quite some time since those traditions were honored. Still, it is much appreciated. It is good to see new works still alive after all this time. Maybe there is some hope for all of you after all.
Well, I can show you the very first thing I made. It's perhaps not much to look at. And he's going to pull out a small book, which is, to anyone with Prime Sight, it's got definite... It was made out of magic, so it's definitely got magical traces. And he just basically... Is the keeper, like, still floating out of reach, or is he, like, coming towards the group?
He will somewhat float around, but if you pull something out of his interest, he'll go closer towards it. So he is essentially looking at it for all intents and purposes.
Now, the interesting thing is the keeper still actively accessing our minds to, like, you know, get language and stuff like that?
He's already gotten as much as the language that he needs.
Okay. So he's not actively looking anymore, or at least
he doesn't need to anymore.
Gotcha. Okay. He'll show you the book. The book's pretty unremarkable, except that as he opens the pages, what looks like it's written in there, instead of formulas or anything complicated, it looks like literal scribbles and doodles. There seems to be no rhyme or reason to it, but to the keeper can probably tell with his abilities that's because there's some sort of unique enchantment laid on the book, which makes it only readable to its owner.
I've seen such things like this before. A excellent starting project. May your secrets be forever kept safe is an old saying, especially common one amongst all the houses. They have their own way of saying it, but each one knows the value of something kept.
My teacher
There
refers to
will
it.
be a rumbling. The ground beneath you will very slightly shake. You will feel it. You will not be knocked off your feet or anything melodramatic, but a few moments later, the red servitor will reappear. And he will say, "Forgive me, Keeper, but our guests attempted to take the test of Lord of Bandanan in order to claim his grand grimoire. They were unsuccessful."
They had potential. They had a chance, I suppose. But if they failed, that is the risk that they took. Such a test wouldn't have any value if there wasn't any risk to it.
Agreed, Keeper.
Go back to your duties and tell the other staff that we have more guests.
I shall do so immediately. They will be most pleased. It has been some time since they were able to show their skills.
Yes, ensure that the dancing room is opened. I've long since lost the keys.
We will attempt to do so, Keeper. He will once again step back into the pool of water, shimmer, and disappear.
Keeper, it may not be esoteric in nature, but I have a gift for you if you will accept. As I did not know that gifts were things to be given in this type of meeting.
Unfortunately, none of you of House Dene, which is what makes it tradition.
I would then claim the right of hospitality, a guest to give a gift to the keeper of the home.
I'm not sure I can enforce the right of hospitality in my current state. Grog, give me a little history check.
Damn it.
He can't, Justin, because he doesn't possess Esoterica.
Okay, who has Esoterica? Give me
Over here we have Esoterica. Quite a lot of our shit.
Enjoy. Make your
I have Hypertech.
Intelligence Esoterica.
Right, what's the difficulty, Justin?
There's one because it gets a representation quite regularly in the modern world as well. It will be fairly easy. I'm going to give you difficulty 4.
Okay.
Difficulty what, sorry?
4.
4.
I got 4 successes.
5 unless analytical applies, then 6.
Does book smart count?
2 successes.
Okay, that's a lot of dice rolls. And I'm pretty sure everything is succeeding by a good margin so far.
I've got 5 successes if book smart counts.
I'll just do the rundown then, since you all scored pretty darn well on that one. And you as well. It is a tradition in a lot of cultures, typically around the Eastern Bend, but also in some rare places, to not willingly accept a gift until the third request. You have suspicions that this might date back to old times of when the fairies used to mess around with humans, that the number 3 was particularly important. And you can find evidence of this pretty much the world over. So you've offered twice.
May I please give you a gift then?
And I must humbly ask and accept. What is it that you have to give me?
He pulls out from around his neck a cross that he has personalized by carving in the name of saints. It has a symbol that was given to him by the prince of the Arabian nations that was handed to him by a jinn, and he has a little picture of the Roman goddess of hearth and home.
I'm afraid then on a third time I must refuse. Things of a foreign, unwelcome source, a symbology that does not belong in this place, was never meant to be here. So many has been lost to that symbol. So many bled out dry to those that followed that cross.
I'm sure none of us meant to give any offense.
Excuse me,
I
people.
appreciate that you had heart to give something and respected some of our old ways, but to give respect to such a bloodied, disgusting symbol of death and decay makes me sick.
Evan, rewinding time, could I not have handed him over the cross? Is that a thing I could do by rewinding a couple of seconds in the past?
The phrase I'm going to use is, you may try and see if you'd like.
I can hear the way Evan is looking at his screen. I just want to point that out. I can hear the way he's looking at it.
I know
All right,
exactly.
I know
so
exactly how he's looking at it.
what is the difficulty for this in this place?
In this place, yes.
Uh-huh.
That
Because
will
I
be
have to...
difficulty 8, because it will count as vulgar with witnesses.
So time magic is vulgar with witnesses. All right.
Well, but welcome to somebody else's sanctum.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, think that
Oh.
you're about to, well, think of it like you're about to run through mud.
So I'll drop 2 to make it at 6 and spend a willpower. And how many successes do I need to go back? 30 seconds?
I'll give you 30 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, what is going to happen is, Grog, you will attempt to reverse time. You will summon the magic. You will take the paradox.
Yay!
The keeper is going to backhand you across the room in abject rage because you were very rude. You attempted to do magic in someone else's sanctum without permission. That is the height of rudeness. And we will continue as Justin narrates what happens next.
I have a question.
We'll give you a question, brief shot until the bad things start happening.
I have a thing in
But
my
if I don't...
eye socket. What happens when he sums up the magic? This is the first time somebody's used time magic in front of me.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Basically, sorry, this is for Austin, because Austin still hasn't...
Can you keep it running for just 2 seconds? I just need to quickly go grab something.
No worries. I have to give Austin a thing here anyway, because in theory, this is the first time somebody's used time magic. Okay, what you see, first out, I have informed you that you see everything from Wrinkle's eye with a green tinge, didn't I? I have told you that.
Yes.
Okay. So, essentially what you perceive from the eye is you perceive... There's almost like a normal little lane of static that runs across your vision. You have no idea why it's been there before. However, when somebody attempted to use time magic in your presence, it literally felt as if someone had grabbed that line of static and was yanking it backwards, physically yanking it from left to right in a very jerking, discordant manner. You will take 1 point of bashing because that was really unpleasant.
Ow.
As your eye will spark.
And when that happens,
I'm back.
He will kind of step back and hold his hand over his right eye and just like, ow.
Okay. So, Grog, You will. Grog, sorry,
Well, I
just-
need to
just
see if I botched first before anything happens, because I might be stuck in between time.
That
Why,
is
did you botch the roll?
No,
I
he
haven't
hasn't
even
botched
rolled
yet.
yet.
He still actually has to make his die roll.
Yeah, I actually have to make the roll before anything happens.
My apologies. Well, no, you can't botch because you spent willpower.
Good point.
Yeah, but I can totally fail, which means
Either way.
nothing happens.
Just give me a dice roll anyway. Okay, you ready?
Grog, you ready?
Back. What exactly happened?
Oh, sorry, I'll let Justin explain. I'm going to go get a drink. I'll be back in a second.
Yes, Grog presented a, let's how put it, to be a Christian cross, which to be a gift to the keeper, who took great offense at a cross being presented to him.
I mean, I would, but okay.
It's like to him, you presented an icon of an icon of slaughter.
And then he tried to reverse time to undo it.
And I guess he wasn't having it.
Oh no, no.
I missed quite a bit.
Yeah, Keeper would be pissed right now.
Yep. Well, one was the offense. Offenses can be forgiven. The other was an insult.
Is Keeper upset with anyone else?
Just him.
No one else has offended him, really.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I think he. I've actually been keeping a mental log of how the keeper might feel about some of you. He likes those who have engaged with him and talked to him about things that he likes, and those who have given him presents and things to look at. He likes.
Yay!
Grog is apparently having trouble getting back in the
I think
call.
Has he done that type of thing where you drop out but don't try to drop out?
I think so. We could just say the keeper snaps his neck as he backhands him.
That's one way.
That's a little bit
but
of a
maybe
lame
that's
way.
not.
That's a little bit of a lame way to kill somebody.
For him, it says call is full, so it dropped him, but it hasn't dropped him. I just got the notification on mobile.
I shall eject them from the hangout, and he can try again.
I wouldn't do that because sometimes if you do that, it bans for people from coming back to the hangout.
If you kick if the owner of the hangout removes someone from the hangout, that Gmail account cannot enter this particular hangout again.
Damn it. Okay.
One way to get rid of somebody.
So I'll just send him a message.
All right. Well, okay. In that case,
We would
whatever-
like to keep running through. Shall I flick my fingers and he disappears?
You know, I was going to say, Grog will now do his own happy scene at a different point, as the fingers snap and he vanishes from sight.
Shit, is he dead?
No.
Like I said before,
They're in
he offered correctly, but he offered an item of a god of slaughter. These things are not welcome in this place. Then he tried to undo his mistake rather than learn from it. That is an insult.
For the record, at this point, there are 3 huge doors that lead off this room. One of the doors will open, and another one of the figures, much more, unlike the others, it is not robed. It is dressed in gold, however, and it has a mask affixed over its face, a smiling mask this time. And it will walk into the room and it will offer a deep courtly bow to those assembled. and it will say, "Ah, good evening. My apologies, but I was told that there were new guests. I am the dancing master. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance."
What's up, dancing master? My name's Eliza. How do you do?
I must rest for a time as the event is going. Please entertain now.
May I ask one question before you depart, Keeper?
I will be back soon enough after I've tended to our other guest.
All right.
Oh, I will point out. Actually, okay, Grog, we have two options here. We can either, we basically said either the keeper backhands you and you disappear into thin air and we will do a separate scene with you later, or he can deal with you right now as if as if you had never disappeared, and we will basically just fix the timeline so that he will continue to talk as you are there. Which would you prefer?
I'd prefer to keep the party together, unless
Okay.
that's going to make more problems for people.
No, that's fine. In that case, Justin, we will go back to a few minutes just before the dancing master came in, and we will do just as the keeper smashes him across the room and be angry and go.
Okay. Wibbly-wibbly-woo. You brought an icon of a god of slaughter into my house? That was an offense. Then you try to undo your mistake rather than learn something? That was an insult and a crime to my house. You can feel yourself lifting into the air as the gravity doesn't really want to be touching you right now. As these coal red eyes blaze behind this mask. You can feel your skin crawl.
I am not sure what offense the cross has given you, to be quite fair.
Slaughterers of my kin wore this.
I do not understand.
Richard will.
Then you're ignorant, and that is worse. Ignorant of the crimes that those who bore such items should bear. You wish to make amends, you wish to apologize, then a suitable price should be paid. The lessons come freely in this place, some of them kind, some of them harsh, some of them cruel, some of them brutal. That is the law of nature.
Lex naturalis.
I'll give you a chance to make an amend. A suitable offering. Something that someone who bears an icon of those invaders should have made a long time ago.
Can you repeat that, Justin, for me?
Something that someone who bears an icon of those invaders should have made a long time ago. A dagger forms in midair. Looks like it's carved from onyx.
I look over at the doctor. Where would a pound of flesh be most easily given from?
I'm waiting.
Brett, I think he's talking to you.
Using medicine, where would be the best point from the skull to scrape off a piece of his own flesh?
I will point out. Okay. Alizair, would you like to roll me Intelligence Esoterica, please?
Yes, I actually have that. Does Bright count?
Yes, it does.
Excellent.
I also have that, if that's any help.
One success.
It's for Alizair. Okay. He asked you. Okay, Grog just asked you. I'm going to have to be a dick because this is how this works. He said, where is it easiest to take a pound of flesh from? He asked basically, where is it easy to remove? That is entirely the way to look at it. It should not be easy. It should be hard.
Make the cultural savvy roll.
If.
Awesome. Intelligence still, does Brett count?
Yes, it does. My point is more, you would not dignify that with a response, because if you did, you would risk angering the entity who wants the price paid, if that makes sense. Because if you were to say something along the lines of, well, it's just literally cut your ass off, that there's a pound of flesh right there. Well, that's just missing them entirely.
I do have one suggestion, but it really begs the question. Grog. What was your character? Sorry, what was your character's name again? I keep forgetting that.
Michael O'Cullen.
All right, Grog. I hate to say this, but it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm all out of fucks to give. Is Michael circumcised?
No, he's Catholic.
Well, it sounds like he soon will be.
Right. Well, for one thing, Alzer made his cultural savvy rule, so he knows that by offering a suggestion in this is probably going to piss off the keeper. He's going to look over at Grog. He's going to look up from where he's writing in his notebook and look at Grog. And he's going to look at the keeper. He's going to look back at Grog. He's going to look back at the keeper, give the keeper a smile, and go back to writing in his notebook.
The dagger is just hanging there in midair. Also, I will point out, it was Grog who verbalized a pound of flesh. You've got no idea if that's what the keeper wants.
What is required of me for me to learn this lesson? Is it pain, anguish, learning?
A chance to feel of how those who invaded felt as they felt it.
So a mental punishment.
Then search my mind and see that I've already felt that pain before.
Not here. Not in my sight. Perhaps a motivator. You can see a hourglass starting to form. It's not that much sand in it.
Can I try to throw dice at you? Because I'm just coming up with nothing.
Yeah, what do you want to justify for a dice roll? What are you trying to find out?
Do you have intellect occult?
Go with Wit's Mage Lore.
What's a mage lore?
Yeah, Wit's Mage Lore, difficulty 8.
It'll be a difficult one, but yeah, you could work something out with that.
Difficulty 8. Dice roller, what are you doing? 1 second, I'm waiting for it to read that I have rolled. I'm going to spend a willpower, because I need to not fail this. Or worse, botch this. Okay. Is it going? Oh, that. Apparently I rolled D19s. That is not correct.
Yep. Even for a D19 roll, it's about average.
It's actually really bad for D19.
Okay, that is not a
3
bad
successes.
roll. Okay, Evan, you want
With
your commentary?
willpower.
In theory, he's asking. Well, in theory, from what you've seen here, you note the architecture, you note the concentric spirals that a lot of things have. You note the fact that everything has tree and water, life and death motifs. So, I mean, it would not be out of bounds to say they're a druidic practice, to say that they have that kind of Celticism or druidism. So, in theory, life's blood freely given in a ritualistic manner from your own veins would probably be an acceptable offering. Mind you, when I say life's blood, I mean you have to slash your wrists to the point that you require emergency medical treatment and probably life magic or exsanguinate.
All right. Let's see if I die from this then.
Okay.
So he's going to take the offer dagger, test it with his thumb, and he's going to start from elbow to wrist. And I'm not going to describe any further because that might trigger someone.
Fair enough. We're quite willing to let those details slide.
All right.
You're going to...
You will notice that the blood falls from your wrist. Okay. Grog has cut his wrists. Now, for those of you who may have a medical background, Hornelli, that is very not good.
Technically, I can only cut one because the tendons in the other arm would be dead.
Yeah, there's a reason why they say, down the street, not across the road.
Unfortunately.
Yes, you are indeed correct. So he will cut, more than likely, his left wrist. I'm assuming he's right-handed. So, the blood...
No, his right wrist, because he's left-handed.
That's fine. So the blood will start to freely flow from his wrist. With each heartbeat, more will pump onto the ground until such point as the keeper appears satisfied.
Blood, more blood, more blood, more blood.
Can I do
Feel
an
free
enigma's roll
to,
at this point? Sorry to interrupt, but I do think that there's been a lot of evidence put forward towards Mara at this point to justify whether or not she thinks what she already knows about the particular symbol that was outside that room, which may have belonged to a certain house, which now is a clan, which she doesn't know about, of course, because she doesn't have any vampire lore. And considering what the keeper has just requested of Michael.
Oh boy.
Would it be logical to assume, or make a roll to assume that this individual is one of the... I believe the Hermetics refer to it as Masasa. But in
are you asking if the keeper is a Masasa?
I was trying to say, would it be okay if I could do an Enigma's roll or something like that to come to that conclusion logically, or at least go into that line of theory?
I mean, you don't really need to make an Enigma's roll. If that's what your character thinks, then yeah, that's entirely...
She's not thinking it, she's trying to go through it logically.
The logic as you've been presented, that is a distinct possibility, or rather that it's built to serve Masasa or blood mages.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And now, like mine were before, and you are now. You're at the mercy of your companions. Life shall be in their hands as mine were in the hands of others.
He is saying, Grog will exsanguinate within the next 3 minutes if people do not intercede.
Alazir will intercede because he does not like death, even though he works with it constantly.
Well, I only have heal self, so I can't do anything.
I'm not going to heal him. I'm going to medicine him. So
I'm not going to heal him. I'm going to medicine him.
Alazir is going to open up his bag and pull out his medical kit, and he is going to bandage up his arms, or his one arm, until such a time as the blood flow stops, that he can actually sew a suture to knit the flesh back together. So I need to. Is it Dex medicine or intelligence medicine or wits medicine to do this?
Dex medicine is quite appropriate on this one because you're working against the clock.
Yep.
Yeah.
So anything that involves actual physical surgery, like physically stitching, etc., is dexterity medicine.
Okay, well, that's basically what Alzir is going to have to do.
That's fine.
All right. Difficulty 6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 2 successes. Do I need to go further? Okay. All right. So Alzir's going to staunch the bleeding. He's also going to tourniquet the arm with his belt. Actually,
Okay.
no, I probably have rubber tubing in there, so I can use that.
Use medical tubing to do it.
Yeah.
That's fair. Grog, due to loss of blood, you will be at a +2 difficulty to all physical rolls for the remainder of the scene.
On the plus side, you're not going to bleed out.
Yeah, but that suddenly made, fighting not so good.
Let's not do anything to fight then, because death is really likely.
By the way, as I said, at this point, we will go back to the previous statement. So the keeper will leave. He will say he is tired, and he will leave. And the golden, the golden spirit will enter, who calls himself the dancing teacher, the dancing master.
Would he still have said he's coming back?
Yes. Well, he will say explore the chantry, if you wish.
I will give one thing because you did message it quite a while ago. Before I go, you over there, I can feel this questioning burgeoning from you. Before I go, I must know it.
Finley's going to look at him and just say, with all that I've seen here, I do not know the name, however Evan said it's supposed to be pronounced, DiD. But essentially he's going to say, I don't recognize that name, but do you recognize the name Verbena?
I will. I'm going to step in and answer the question for the keeper in this. He will smirk. If the keeper could smirk, actually the mask will smirk, and it will say, "Unfortunate fools who think that they understand the old ways." But then again, it is natural. What can one understand when it is lost, when it is twisted by each retelling? At least when the old tales are written down, we come to understand them. We come to acknowledge them. We may all see the spiral of life to death to rebirth, and that is admirable. However, they have lost the essence of what they are. So from that answer, you can intimate that yes, and they view things in a very similar way, except if Finlay was to guess, you'd say that maybe they ascribed a bit more to the kind of hermetic principle of write things down and codify things, as opposed to the much more free spirit, we will tell the old tale style of the Verbena.
Because I thought, okay, never mind.
You thought, you thought what, sorry?
Yeah, I always thought, because I thought the DiD were actually pretty much most of the Verbena became House DiD, and then when they were nearly wiped out, the remnants became part of the modern day Verbena eventually.
They did, well, kind of. No, they were wiped out pretty Okay, a little bit of a history lesson. They were wiped out pretty wholesale. They were, there is theories. The theory is that yes, they were originally Verbena, or that they were a druidic practice, but rather than joining the Verbena during the council of, the fuck is it called? The council of,
So not the Pax Hermetica, but the Council of Nine.
It was when the Council of Nine were formed, yeah, and that's the reason why, for example, the IDED joined the Euthanatos as opposed to joining the Verbena. Basically, different groups actually gathered together in more disparate manners and weirder ways than you would have thought. So they may have had a similar origin to the Verbena, but they definitely diverged from the Verbena, if that makes sense.
Okay.
All right, so the dancing master will enter, as I said, dressed in gold, and he will walk to Eliza, and he will offer her a deep bow from the waist. Then he will bow to Lottie from the waist.
Lottie will do her best to curtsy.
It has been some time since I have seen such lovely flowers. May I ask you, either ladies, if you would care to dance?
I am unlearned in the ways of dance. I simply know how to make music. Or twist music to the way that tends to work pretty well.
How wonderful. I would love to hear this music that you play.
Lottie will pull out cell phone. I've got some playlists for you. One sec.
I am here to show you. Rather, you are here to be shown. As pleasant as it would be to dance, I'm sure there is much to see. What would you care to see while you are here? I am your guide.
Well, what could you possibly see? I know that this is a chantry, and there are areas that are perhaps private. Whatever can be shown that is appropriate. I'm not picky.
As I have said, what do you wish to see? There is the library, perhaps. Or would you care to see the grand tree? Or perhaps the tomb of our beloved founder?
When he mentions the library, Richard's eyes widen a little bit, and there's a barest hint of desire that he tries to keep under wraps.
Library, I guess. We could go down the list.
Of course.
I'm just gonna look at people and be like, yo, you pick.
Would you all care to follow me, please? The dancing master he has a very liquid gait. And you know what? He's going to wrap his arm around Lottie as they walk, unless Lottie stops him.
She's just gonna go with the flow because death is probably not something she wants to tackle right now, and she's really curious about what's going on. So we'll go with the flow. She actually pull out her phone to try to show the playlists.
He will seem endlessly interested in the concept of the phone. It is fascinating to him. But he will lead you down through a corridor, down the left-hand-most doors. I say there are three major doors as you enter. You will turn this way and that, hither, dither, yither, and yon, down many different stretches of corridors, all cut, as I say, from the living stone, all of which burn with green braziers or candles, all of which are lit in that same eerie green light. But then again, I suppose once you get used to it, well, it's simply light, isn't it? Until there is a grand set of double doors in front of you. A set of double doors that when the dancing master approach, you will see light up with an ephemeral glaze before they will push themselves open on their own rusted hinges. Inside, you are in a large ovuloid room. The room itself stretches down deep and far. There are many different volumes stacked upon shelves here on many different floors. The building plan seems complicated and honeycomb-ish in the sense that there are many different floors, each linked by a large circular staircase that can be accessed from the center of the room. This room itself is lit, unlike the others, very well with blue lanterns that give it all a vaguely bluish tinge. You sense the mystery in the air. You smell the books. It is a pleasant place, or so you think. the dancing master will bow and he will say, "Welcome to the Grand Chantry's Library. Please peruse as you see fit."
This is a pretty fucking big collection. Are we allowed to read these books?
By all means, please.
And as soon as the thing gives them permission, Richard will, as casually as he can, stroll over towards the nearest shelf and look through its contents, see what he can find that is that might sound interesting.
Mara's going to do the same thing as well, though she will give herself a little bit of a boost to her intelligence or wits, whichever is appropriate. That'd be a mind effect, wouldn't it?
Yep, it would be. Most of the books here are written in Old Celtic, so it is a very esoteric language.
Oh, that's good. That's good because we have a linguistics master here.
We've got two of them technically. But yes, they're written in ancient Celtic. There are many spirals, many knots on the book covers. They are all bound. None of them are bound in leather, you will notice. They are all bound almost in lichen that has been sewn together to make the book covers.
Ooh, that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Lottie can't read a damn thing that she's looking at, but she's still gonna look at the pictures. Just be like, ooh, I have no idea what it says.
You bimble, because I'm going to give this to you. Lottie, you bimble off to the side looking at books, kind of looking for ones that have pictures, and then you come across a very macabre sight. You see about a dozen or so charred and blackened skeletons pressed against a wall. The wall itself is also blackened.
Okay. Is this like a piece of art on a wall, or like is it on the wall, or is it in a book?
A real skeleton pressed against the wall, against the wall.
Okay. Lottie's gonna turn her head, kind of keeping her eyes on the skeletons, kind of tilt her head. Are these supposed to be here? Do you have skeletons that move?
Hi, Mr. Forensic Anthropologist.
Yep.
As you walk over, you will be immediately hit by a single fact. The skeletons here are all of children or teenagers, young teenagers.
Were they trying to hide?
Alzier's going into forensic anthropologist mode. He's going to do a full basic diagnosis. Does it look like they were huddling there and somebody hit them with a fireball?
They were burned literally from the inside out. You can see the combustion marks pushing their rib cages out.
Alzier's going to, off of what he sees, he's going to say, these children were killed by magic. They were burned inside out.
Who would do
All right, boys and girls. As you say that, the air appears to once again shift and move. You feel the magic wash over you from the room, and you are all doused in that sense of horrible sadness, that feeling. It doesn't matter if you have a mind shield or not, because there is no real mechanical effect, other than you feel such sadness. The children's bodies, as you look down, are gone, and what you see instead is the great door on one end of the library. Sorry, just 1 second. You see the great door on one end of the library, and then standing... Yep, you see a number of children stood there. As I have said, no one you would guess above the age of 15, and you see them huddling behind the keeper, and you see the keeper kneel down, and he is talking to them in hushed and frantic words. The words, however, are not. You will notice it's almost like they have been dubbed, in the sense that the words that they are speaking are clearly a different language. However, you're hearing the words in English or whatever your own national language would be. If you're not English, you will hear it in whatever form you are most comfortable with hearing. And one of the children is looking at the keeper, and he's kind of grasping the keeper physically to him, and he'll say, "You won't let them get us, will you? You won't let them take us."
All in my power that I can give, I will give for you. All that I could, I shall. But should the worst happen, know that you will be with those that you care about.
You will see the door on the other side, the great door to the library, blow in. It isn't combustion since the wood doesn't break, it doesn't narrow, but there's a force that shatters it open. And you will see men dressed in black armor enter the room. You will see
Evan, I need to roll my
eyes.
PTSD roll real quick.
That's actually quite appropriate.
Yes, it is.
I'm going to choose to fail it. If you would...
Difficulty, or do I not?
I'm going to go ahead and fail it, and you will see Michael lever himself up off the floor and charge headlong into what this group of people look like, yelling in his home language of Celtic Gaelic, "Never the children, never again."
That is grammatically appropriate.
You will pass through them as if they are shadows. They are not physically there.
He's going through PTSD, so he's going to try to fight them.
That's fine. They will continue moving as if you're not there. You will move through them like they are shadows or like they are made of light.
To make it feel so much worse, once again, you feel helpless.
The keeper's eyes will glow a baleful light, and you will see the first two individuals who enter the room literally turn to dust and ash. Before striding into the room, you see a man dressed in crimson armor. He has a hood over his head and a great pyramid imprinted on his breastplate. And you will see he raises something in his hand that looks like a coin or some kind of small golden item that glows with an unearthly light. And the keeper shrieks in pain and is forced onto his knees. Before more people file into the room, you see, for the Hermetics, you see individuals who bear the sigils of House Flambeau and House Titalus. You see the children scream and gnarl and attempt to flee, but they are hemmed in. They are pushed against the wall. You then see one of the men walk to the man dressed in red and bow. He says, "What will be the fate of the children, Magister Tremere?" He will very calmly look down and with an imperious voice, as if he himself were the voice of God, say, "The council's edict was clear. None may survive." And in that moment, you see the children rent apart by fire. They claw, they scream, and all that time the keeper watches. You can hear his own screams mix with them as he saw the die.
May all you great rip itself apart! May all you order rebel against it! May the one that you consumed come back and consume you! I will never forgive, and I will never forget!
And then, in that moment, there is silence, and you stand back in the crypt, surrounded by blackened bones.
I just want to say real quick, Justin, that was awesome, but ow, my ears.
It was really
Yeah,
good, though.
Seriously.
Can I hear anything more?
It's really good, though.
It's a good thing I've got kind of a
Oh,
noise
yeah.
dampener on my earphones.
Anytime.
How's yours?
But Justin was arrested for disturbing the peace, but moving swiftly along.
Alzir is going to pull out the symbol of his faith, and he is going to, in Arabic, he's going to say a prayer for the fallen before he stands up looking very pissed off towards the members of the Order of Hermes that he knows. He says, "What the hell did your people do?"
My people did not do anything. He looks at him casually.
You killed children.
You're accusing us of things we did not do. That is not logical.
We are not members of those houses.
No.
I suggest you find somebody accountable, bro.
Let's also look at this factually. This happened a very long time ago, and whilst it is terrible and horrible that this happened, no one can change the past.
I
Can only
was
make it
thinking-
so that nothing can be done like this in the future.
Al-Zahir is going to sit down on his heels. He's going to start speaking in Arabic. Like, just kind of rocking back and forth, speaking in Arabic.
What's he saying?
He says, I have seen mass graves. I've seen the bodies of people that have been pushed into a grave and then shot. I have seen people who showed signs of having to dig their own graves. But I've never seen anything as horrible as this. No wonder our people left the traditions.
But I mean, if unless someone knows Arabic, they wouldn't know what he's saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
I speak it.
Oh,
The
sorry.
dancing master will move forward.
I was
and-
going to ask. Sorry to interrupt, Evan, but I was going to ask. Now that Mara's got her intelligence up, with your indulgence, I'd like to try and build. I'm not quite sure if you're familiar with. I'm not quite sure if you're familiar with stuff like propositional logic or truth tables and logic trees, but basically in Mara's head, she's going to try and, with all the information that she has already, see if she can't try and, what information that she has already and any pre-existing knowledge that she already has on this particular house and everything else. If she can kind of build up an image in her head and a logical, most likely conclusion as to what exactly she saw, why it happened, and who, if anyone, is to blame.
Okay, you can make that. You can. I'm not actually sure what kind of role that would be. Ultimately, let me think.
I would say academics, in all honesty. I mean, you could
Intelligence
say
academics.
but you know.
All right, I'll give it to you with academics, but let me continue for a moment. The fencing master kind of walks forward, and you see he puts his hand on one of the skulls, but his hand moves through it as if it's not there, and he appears genuinely sad. And he will say, his name was Funra. He was a small fencing. Bright boy. And Alasia. She was so worried that she would never measure up to her elder sister. Her elder sister died defending the outer parapets. And all Alra ever wanted to do was to be a bird. He thought that he could fly one day.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Hmm?
Unless this is, I'm sorry for your losses.
For the record, I will point out, and this is a very, very terrible thing, but if you have mind sight, you will know that he is actually feeling emotion. He has a mind that can feel emotion.
Mm-hmm.
He will... Oh, sorry, continue.
Is he feeling still the pangs of loss and sadness through all this time?
I would say not anymore, but definitely sadness.
Michael kind of feels drawn to him because of one of his merits, and he'll look down at the children and say, if I could have died to save them, I would have. I'm sorry for your loss.
Those with the pyramids and those with the judges. Sorry, those with the pyramids came with the others who were once our friends, who embraced us as brothers, and then they called us demons, said that we worked fell magics, and then they killed the children. who had committed no sin but be born, but stand here. They killed the children. You will see as a single tear falls from his masked face that appears to be made of pure light from a quintessence perspective. He will disappear. He will vanish. Sorry, what was Mara's role for the
intelligence academics? Basically, using propositional logic, and truth tables and logic trees to try and come to a reasonable conclusion as to, considering all the evidence that she already knows about this particular house. Okay. What's the difficulty?
Difficulty. I'll give it you difficulty 8.
Okay, dokes. Let's see what we got. Oh, cool. I kind of expected that, really.
Oh, did you fail?
Yeah, just a regular fail and not a botch.
Yeah, it's really jumbled. It's hard to get a straight picture. The thing that keeps tripping you up is the fact that, wait, this house are meant to be demon worshippers and blood magicians, but they're being accused because ultimately every single hermetic is taught that the Tremere are as evil as you can get. You're not necessarily taught why, but you're taught that they are evil. So, but why is it that literally the hermetic Satan were allowed to lead the charge against other people who were claimed to be evil? And that's what keeps tripping you up.
1 second, Evan. Did anyone else hear? He says out loud, I hope the one you devoured devours you in return. He just looks around. What could that mean? Why would the guardian, the keeper, yell something like that?
I don't know. Curse, perhaps, but without knowing. Something isn't right. We're not seeing the entire picture.
Liam shrugs.
We're seeing a pretty terrible picture.
This seems like, and she kind of looks over towards the other hermetics in the group. Quicksand, which, anyone with hermetic lore probably would know is a euphemism for Order of Hermes politics. How much fuckery it can be. Yeah. Those guys give the Camarilla a twist.
Liam shakes his head.
More information.
Rabbit hole goes deeper, it seems, every day.
Indeed.
Once again, the air will shimmer and the bones will vanish. And you will see a tall man, a powerfully built man, a man who radiates power and authority, sitting at the head of a large table that's been crafted specifically, and that is still there in the center of the library. You walked past it to get to here. And you will see him look down, and he's reading a piece of paper in his hand. And he will sigh deeply as he says, and once again you can understand him, despite the fact he's not speaking English. He will say, and you can see the keeper is standing there with him. He will say, "We are receiving more reports of continued odd activity coming from Eastern." Sorry, I'll do the proper accent. Coming from Eastern Europe. I don't know why. What are they doing there? Apparently, apprentices are disappearing from. Oh fuck! I can't remember. I can never pronounce this. House Tremere's chantry is Shergarus. Shergarus.
Which chantry?
Beg your pardon?
Where is it?
Which
It's
chantry?
it was their main chantry before they moved to Vienna. I think it was Chagarovsk.
I think it was Chigaris, yeah.
Sugarovsk. Yeah.
Yes.
We were on with that.
Crazy Hungarian names.
Crazy Hungarian names. Thank you. I keep more apprentices disappear from Chagarovsk night and day. What are they doing there, do you think, Keeper?
Dark thing.
Yes.
Very bottom, the very soul. Always has been. Some say a leprechaun changes spots. In this case, I say an oil slick is always going to be.
I know that Lord Tremere has had his issues, and I know that it is that he is on a quest for something. When last we met and when last we spoke, he made it clear that he felt as though his time was running out and that for some great work he required more of it. But this, why are the apprentices going? What are they doing there? What
Things
could
more
they be doing?
dangerous than. Oh,
Yes. I must inform the council of this. We live in dark times, it would seem.
indeed, but we shall stand. We're as strong as the mountain. Wind is at your back. You
Mm.
shall see another day. You shall see another sunrise.
He will smile and he will say, "Indeed, you were always wise and always the counsel that was required. I will write and I will inform them of my suspicions and my concerns. Perhaps a simple investigation will clear my mind, for it has been dark of late."
Call to your friends, call to your allies, call to the ones that you trust that are close to him. Find that truth that is hiding from you. Maybe it'll give you the light that you need.
I know that long he has desired the staff, but then again I keep it hidden here. I keep it very well hidden. I have made it so that none have seen it, and that few else could take it if they wished. There are many duplicates. I know that he desires it, and he has offered quite some payment for it, but I will be damned if he will have it.
Not a matter of power, it's not a matter of payment, it's a matter of worth. You know, and you have done good by your house, and you've done good by all those near you and near them, that only the worthy shall wield that staff again.
Indeed. I wish my father were alive. He would know what to do.
He'll be smiling upon you this day, knowing that you are leading us towards the future. One hard, bitter, bloody step at a time. Just like it's always has been. It's never meant to be easy. That's how we know we've grown wise.
And with that image too will fade, as if turning to dust, and you will be standing in the room alone again.
So a Lord Tremere was stealing or doing something to apprentices, and the keeper damned the wielder of the pyramids and eyes for that whoever they devoured would devour them in return.
Or whatever.
Evan, I'd like to do another roll, if I may. This one, I think, is probably going to be a lot simpler than the last one.
Okay, what do you want to roll?
I like to do intelligence plus enigmas.
Okay.
That. Diff, I think.
Well,
I'll let you decide the
what are you
difficulty
trying
on
to
this.
ascertain with your roll?
Are we being led? Like, are we being deliberately led?
Okay, I will let you roll that at standard difficulty.
Okay. 5 successes.
Okay. It is difficult to say if you are being led or if this would be shown to everyone. Perhaps it is something about you that means that these memories are being replayed, or perhaps it is simply because this place will replay them because it is what gives them solace that someone else may know their pain. So ultimately, it's 50-50. However, you get the distinct impression because of the emotional nature of the memories, it is more of an outcry than necessarily leading you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, all right. So basically what we're kind of seeing is more kind of like it's an emotional appeal is what you're saying to. It's either an emotional appeal in right now due to these entities which we may be mages or maybe some sorts of like construct which has been present in this node which is just affecting to try and convince or influence influence others beyond the immediate time in which the spell was made in order to get them to achieve a certain goal.
That would be a reasonable assumption.
Don't forget that Occam's razor rule. A cry of pain can simply be a cry of pain.
Yeah,
at this point, by the way, you will once again notice that you're not alone. Another figure, this time dressed in blue, has appeared and is standing with what appears to be an open ledger book and is looking at you. Good afternoon.
Looks over towards them.
I'm the librarian. Oh.
Hello.
I do beg your pardon. She will walk over to Lottie and she will say, "Now, Mariath, you know that the treatise of Sanguine Divinitas, it has been out longer than the allotted period. I would ask that you please return it with all due productivity, please."
What?
It's a mirage.
Prime and Spirit Sight, is it actually there?
Yes.
Lottie's just gonna wave. I don't know what you're talking about. Hi.
My record, Miss Mariath, you checked out Sanguine Divinitatus 2.5 weeks ago and have failed to bring it back. You know the library has a 2-week return policy, and I would ask you to please return.
I'm not.
Miss Lottie, I can explain for everyone. I believe what we are looking at here, what we have been experiencing today, has been. Think of it as an emotional letter sent through time. The time capsule, if you will. A great.
Bleeding heart of an open wound?
Yes. An open wound from 1,000 years ago.
Jeez, I kind of wish I could give her the fucking book.
You can.
But no, you misunderstand. It's just a simple matter. I'm sure that it's still in your quarters, madam.
Yeah,
Mind the sight. Is it sentient?
Yes.
Where are her quarters?
I'll look in my quarters, see if I can find it. I must have misplaced it.
I'm sure that you have. My apologies, Miss Mariath. Who are your friends?
These are our guests. Did you not hear? They're from other schools of thought.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah, so we're just here to see the library, and now we're escorting them elsewhere to see the other wonderful things of our dear country. I will look for...
It is so pleasant to see you again. Miss Meredith, I will inform your mother that you are well. She does so worry about you. She writes me still intermittently.
Lottie's gonna visibly flinch at the mother thing. Yeah, you do that.
Richard
Evan,
is going to,
this librarian? Do they have any symbols of houses on their uniform? I'm presuming they're wearing a uniform.
None of the servitors so far have had any sigils with
Right.
Richard is not going to let an opportunity like this pass him by, even though he's not really fond of doing this. So he'll look at the librarian and take a deep breath. I'm sorry. Before we go, I would ask if you could assist me with something.
I beg your pardon?
It was to the librarian.
Yes, but I didn't hear what you asked the librarian.
Oh, sorry. He said before we leave, if it's not too much trouble, I would like to ask if you could assist me.
Oh, of course, sir. In what way may I be of assistance?
The thing is that I've been reading, and please, I do not mean to offend, but I am afraid I do not speak or read the language of most of these books. Would you happen to have anything in Latin or Greek?
Yes, sir. Those would be in the foreign section. They are on the 6th level, 3rd quadrant. By all means, free to peruse them to your liking.
Is there any logical way that you can find out where that is, or is it just is it here, or is it somewhere deep down in the wrong section that he doesn't want to go?
This is the first floor. She
fair.
said floor 6, so.
Okay, yeah. He smiles and thanks the librarian. Thank you. I will definitely do that later.
For the record, I will ask you guys a question. Why is it that Lottie was part of what you would assume its delusion was, and yet no one else was?
Yep, I don't know.
Do I need to do another Enigmas check?
Can I do it as well?
That's just... No, it's not really a check, because that's not really an enigma. But it's more fun if you guys ponder.
Right, well... Okay.
Eliza has hypothesis.
Well, yeah, I think, to be fair, I think the conclusion that I've already come to is probably kind of explains it. Though, that being said, Mara will... If the librarian is still in the immediate vicinity, it's not going anywhere, Mara will probably... Well, she'll check to see if she can if the thing actually regards her before she'll obviously clear her throat to try and get its attention.
It will look at you.
If you don't mind me asking, have your tutors educated you on any variety of languages here? I'm just curious.
I speak all languages here, sir.
Would you be able to inform me which language I am speaking?
You are currently speaking English, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Madam.
And then Mara's going to transition over to Romanian, though she's going to intentionally use old-style Romanian, kind of like the Wallachian, Dacian style. It's messy.
Are you a member of House Tremere, sir?
And it's a good thing that Mara
just to quickly put
emotion. Let's just say that.
Just to quickly put in there on that brief note, you see underneath the floors and on the walls there's little shapes. Then the shapes of creatures. They're the shapes of tigers. They're differently striped, but they look majestic, as if they're made from mosaics. Artwork made from various tiles of different colors. There's 3 of them that flow around the ground and the walls beneath and beside you. 2 of them seem to kind of go and be underneath you and almost inspect you. You can kind of see their eyes looking at you. You can almost see the action of these mosaics sniff at your presence. But after maybe a second or two, they seem bored and they leave. The problem is the third tile. The third tile was not like the other two. It seems cracked. There's damage to it. Where it moves, there's like this faint smell of mushroom, fungus, an oily, sweetly sick scent. Its tiles don't match and are not nearly as majestic as the other two. It's got things growing beneath it. There's moss between where the tiles meet, and it remains, and it is watching.
At this point,
And Mara will respond to the question which the creature gave to her very stoically, despite how much offense that she probably should have taken. No, I am not of House Tremere.
I see. My apologies. I was merely intimating via your choice of tongue.
I am familiar that they are from that region.
All right. By the way, boys and girls, at this moment in time, the large double doors into the library will be pushed open. And you will see, though interesting fact, they have not seen you yet because of where you are standing, you will see two gleaming suits of hypertech metal enter the room, followed by an individual dressed in a white coat.
Evan, do I know this character? Is it named Char?
It is not. They are clearly technocrats.
Hiding. Scatter.
I can't hide. I'm at +3 diff. I'm at diff 9 with 1 die. That ain't
So we
happening.
drag you. We drag Michael's body away.
Arcane.
Too.
Scatter.
Likewise. Yes.
Player party disperse.
I would like to note that Eliza will
Run
stick with
away!
Lottie.
Run away!
All right,
I would like.
guys. Mike,
Yeah.
what were you saying?
I would like to note that as we're scattering, Eliza will stick with Lottie.
That's okay. An important question. You know what? We're going to end the scene here as you scatter and
What?
split up. Yes.
Well, shit.
This
Well,
got a
you
lot
guys-
more developed
you
than
guys-
initially anticipated.
Yes. You guys said that you were going to scatter, which means you're all going to investigate different parts of this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful chantry. So what we're going to do is we're going to split you up we're going to split you up into 2 teams, and we will run a separate scene on another evening for each of these teams. So first team is going to consist of let's give it Eliza, Lottie, Alazir, and Richard. The second team will consist.
Someone record that, please.
Yep, someone please record that.
Wait 1
The
second. Writing shit down.
Thank
No
you.
worries. The second team will consist of Michael, Mr. Weiss, Mara, and Liam.
Yay, I get stuck with hermetics.
What was the first name? Oh, yep.
I don't know if that's a good thing in that situation here, Grog.
It isn't.
Yeah.
It isn't at all, because I'm finding out information that I'm not supposed to know.
Very good.
We all
Got the
are.
list.
All right, so guys, as I said, we're splitting you up. It is also much easier for us, particularly if there are going to be things like combat. It is much easier for us to run smaller groups than it is to run with an entire 8-person team. So you will each investigate. You will come back together for the last room of the manse, which you will all do together. Because trust me when I say, ho Jim, things are going to get weird.
Sweet.
Until then, unfortunately, sad tier, you must consider yourselves scene locked. All of you may buy and it is an interesting lore I'm about to give you. Forbidden Lore, Order of Hermes 1.
Up, buy
I
that right
like it.
now. Oh yeah.
Wait, do we buy this or put this on our sheet right now?
You're putting this on your sheet. You are giving. I give lores for free. I don't make you buy them with XP.
Gotcha.
Right, that
What?
skip.
All right. So, Justin, if you will end the hangout, thank you, players, for playing.
Okay, wait, before we do that, I'm just going to hand out a couple of RP awards. So, yeah, easiest way to express an RP reward is a lot of you guys have been spending willpower and stuff, so I'm going to give you a free willpower back for a couple of bits that I spotted just during play and such. So that will be helpful to you next time. So, Alec, playing Mora, I rather enjoyed your person's logical approach to absolutely everything and the really desperately trying to stick to it.
I have got to play her like this.
Yeah, I approve of it, but yeah, gain a willpower back for that.
Ray.
Let's see. So definitely one on that one. Tell you what.
I didn't hear it. You broke up.
Tell you. Well, Mara is getting a willpower back because I quite liked her logical wall play. Grog, I'm going to give you one for pretty much sticking to the. You pissed off the guy, but you kind of stuck to your guns at the same time, went all out all the way through, even though that you're probably quite likely to die. And also, you didn't bitch about the downsides as well. So I'm going to say, yeah, have a willpower back for sticking to your guns. At the same time, also not arguing with us when we hit you with them. Sound cool?
Sound good.
Okay.
Sweet.
Let's see. I would like to find an excuse to give everyone a willpower back if I could. I'm just judging by like rethinking through the last 2.5 hours of just random things that kind of occur to me of people role playing their characters. Next one kind of goes down to Mark, who is a little bit of an oddity of a character, but remained a, how best to put it, a reliable oddity of the character, completely going through with the, I'm going to press the fucking button. There's a button,
Exactly.
I'm going to press the button.
Yep.
Which I can definitely give credit to, because even though it puts you into great goddamn danger, you were quite willing to throw yourself into it.
Well, we're going to get dragged into it, you mean?
Oh, you're going to get dragged in kicking and screaming. If you haven't.
Someone push the goddamn tree!
Either way, that's just a few of the things that just quickly popped out of my head at the moment. Everyone actually, give yourselves credit. You all role played quite well. We had some nice character discussions going to and from, so everyone give yourselves a little bit of credit. This is what role play scenes are made of. It's not all about system this or exposition that. It's really about interaction, and that's really the bones of any game. It's easy to give the picture, but it's really up to you guys to give the substance. So give yourselves all a little bit of credit for that. And with that, I'm going to end the scene.